grinded out right now, work-wise, you know.
Reasonably busy, or?
Yeah, we're just not getting paid. We're just not getting paid. You know, we're putting work out the door, and, you know, we're getting work, but it's not closing stuff.
And nobody's,
How about you?
I've been okay.
Yeah.
And I was, I've been pretty busy enough. I'll tell you, it's not that I'm
I wish I could say the same, so. I didn't know. You know what? Since we got, yes, since we, yeah, let's roll, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mike's,
What's that? Okay. All right. Good evening. Good evening. I'd like to call to order the January 27th Township Board of Trustees regular meeting, I guess.
We'll call the roll. Mr. Mahoney?
Here.
Mr. Crandall?
Here.
Mr. Genowine?
Here. And we'll do the pledge of allegiance, or let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Let me start this over.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Did anybody have any questions on the approval of the minutes from January 6th?
I'll move approval.
Second. Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Okay.
And hearing of the public?
No, a change to the agenda. I was wondering if the trustees would be okay with moving item number 6 under the fire department, the badge ceremony, up to the next item on the agenda.
Absolutely.
Okay. I have no other items to add or delete from the agenda.
Chief, love to have you up.
Thank you for indulging us in this. We really do appreciate it. Robin's wife, Wendy, well, there she is. Wendy made it. You're fine, Wendy. You're just fine. You're fine. I would like Jeremy Fritz and Robin Zaletta to come to the podium now, please. This is a badge ceremony that we are pinning our officers. A badge is a sign of a symbol of honor in the fire department. And as you rise in the fire department in rank, you're given different badges. Their lieutenant's badge will now have a bugle on it. And the symbol of the bugle is, years ago at fires, we had no radios. We had to bark out orders with our just normal voices. So what they did is they added a bugle to it, and the officers could bark out the orders at a fire so everybody could listen to them and do what needed to be done to put the fire out. So tonight, Jeremy and Robin are getting their badges of honor with a bugle on it. I would like Jeremy to actually acknowledge Dave and Marcia, sorry, I knew I'd mess this up. Dave and Marcia, you want to stand up? Jeremy's parents, very proud parents tonight. And I would like Caitlin and Dylan to come forward. They're going to do the pinning ceremony, and we'll help them out if they need a hand. For Robin, just let me mention too, Jeremy was appointed to the department on May 4th, 1999. And he's moved up to the rank as an acting officer and an officer now as we pin him tonight. Robin Zaletta was appointed to the department May of, we'll do them together. We'll do them together, so I gotta give you an oath. We got a whole new ceremony we gotta do with this guy. We're not gonna let you get away that easy.
You can stay right there with him.
Just staying right with him. Robin was appointed to the department May 17, 2000, and has risen to the ranks as an acting officer and now tonight as a lieutenant. His wife Wendy will come up. Emma, Elena, Lydia, and Margot. We're gonna have everybody come up. Come on up, gang. And I believe Wendy's going to do the honors for Robin. After we do the pinning, we're going to give you your oath of office also. Go ahead, ladies. Robin will be stationed at station number 4. He'll be taking Lieutenant DeShetler's position. And Jeremy will be stationed at station 2, taking Lieutenant Fry's position. We have Deputy Chief Randall's going to administer Deputy Chief Fraggs is going to administer the oath of office.
Are you ready, gentlemen? Okay, repeat after me. Fill in your name in the blank here. I, state your name, do solemnly swear that I will obey and support the Constitution of the United States of America, the laws and revised code of the state of Ohio, the established laws and ordinances within Sylvania Township, and the rules and regulations of the Sylvania Township Fire Department, that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge the duties of the position of Lieutenant Firefighter Paramedic according to all governance therein, to the best of my ability. I take and subscribe this oath before the Board of Trustees and the Sylvania Township Fire Chief this 27th day of January 2015. Congratulations.
Go ahead and shake your hands, Trustee. Then we'll go out. Can we have just 5 minutes to go out in the hall? That's cool. Okay.
Congratulations.
And I'll be back.
Congrats. Yeah. Have a great night tonight. Catch a nice dinner or something like that, you know?
Congratulations.
Thanks for coming. Scott, how you doing with is Jim here to make sure that you got this computer thing, you got the cane to smack him around? I like that. That's good. That's good. All right, zoning department. Daryl?
Good evening. My first item on the agenda is the December monthly report for zoning. We finished the year on a high note. We had 21 permits for the month of December at estimated value of $13.7 thousand. And then we finished the year with 415 permits at $64,487,000. Single-family dwelling permits. We continue to work our way up on that. We had 92 for the year, and at $24 million, almost $25 million in estimated value, and that represents a 13.6% increase on number of permits as well as the value. And then on the next screen, you see the chart there. We continue to dig our way out of the hole. This was our best year since 07, when we had 89 permits. So we're hoping to hit the century mark in the coming year. Zoning complaints. Real slow month, even for December. We had one complaint and finished the year at 155, so we're down from the previous 2 years. Monthly meetings for the zoning department. The Board of Zoning Appeals had nothing on their agenda, and we had no project plan review. The zoning commission heard 2 cases for zone changes that this board had at their last meeting regarding the 2 nursing homes. And just an item of note, on the next page, please, Scott. Item of note is on December 17th, the Lucas County Plan Commission approved recommendation of approval for 2 zone changes that the Board of Trustees will be hearing on the February 3rd meeting, next week's meeting. And that's all I have regarding the monthly report. If the board doesn't have any questions, I'll go on to the next item. Okay, that is an approval of a PUD modification for the Village at 12 Lakes, Plat 2. It's Resolution 15016. Scott, if you can page down to where we have the 2 site plans. It's the last or second last page. Yeah, right there. There's one below. I don't know if it's possible we kind of get the best we can to get both of them on there. The original PUD plan for plats 1, 2, and 3 of the Village at 12 Lakes was previously approved by the Board of Trustees in 2002. The applicant's requesting a modification to Plat 2 only of that plan. Alterations to a pre-approved PUD plan can be approved by the zoning manager unless certain specified circumstances apply. In this case, one of those circumstances does apply, and that is substantial alteration of open space areas from originally approved plans. This requires approval by the Board of Trustees. And the modification on this PUD plan would significantly reduce the amount of common open space in Plat 2. And this approval is administrative and does not require a public hearing or review by either the Lucas County Plan Commission or the Sylvania Township Zoning Commission. And that's per the ORC and the Sylvania Township Zoning Resolution. The original approved plat, the one on the top, was 36 lots of villa-type residential units with a perimeter open space. Which, if you can see it, goes around the bottom and the east side. The proposed modification is, instead of villa types, it's single-family dwelling. It's 20 units, 20 lots instead of 36. And the lot lines will extend all the way to the plat line. There is no perimeter open space, and that's why we're here tonight, because of that reduction. Also, the approved plan had 3 detention ponds. The modified one has 2, and the one is smaller in size. But, there's less drainage because there's less lots, so. And the Lucas County engineers will have final approval as far as drainage and detention ponds. The Sylvania Township zoning resolution requires a minimum of 15% common open space, and this modification still exceeds that I'm sorry, I don't have that right in front of me. It's 27%. The previously approved one was at 49%. That's about all I have. If you have any questions, or the applicant's here if you wish to hear from him.
Any questions?
I'll offer resolution if nobody's got a question. 15-016, approved plan unit development modifications to the Village at 12 Lakes, Plat 2.
Second.
Call the roll. Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Darrell.
Thanks, Sarah. Next up is the Public Works Department with the
Good evening. I am pleased to present the 2014 Infrastructure Repair Report for the board members. First of all, let me start off by saying that each year we address what needs completed. So we do not just canvass all aspects, a little bit of everything. There might be times where we do a lot of just 2 or 3 different items. So whatever the demand shows is what we will focus on. And again, this year is the second year that our focus was on concrete curb repair. As you can see, it was almost 2,300 lineal feet. For 2015, we'll have another year that will focus on concrete curb repair. Specifically, the Joel, Spring Forest areas in desperate need of repair work. County engineers are working up design plans right now, and we'll go out to bid for that. In-house with the township crews, we will perform additional concrete curb repair, more of a roving hit and miss throughout some subdivisions. So, as the report indicates, we're almost at $6 million on the Ohio Public Works Commission since inception. And there's a history of our road resurfacing over the years. So, pending your questions, that's all I have for the board this evening.
I have a question, Greg. With the price of petroleum being down, would you guys ever consider maybe refocusing some asphalt this time of the year when, as opposed to 2 years ago, we're paying $120 a barrel, would you guys ever think about refocusing, maybe with asphalt prices being lower, to go ahead and maybe do some more asphalt?
Yes, sir. Actually, we're looking at a second road resurfacing project. I'd like to see how we get through this winter with the salt.
Absolutely, yeah.
Being at with $105 a ton, but we're having a great winter, all things considered.
Right. All right, cool.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg. Now back to the fire department, they have a monthly report.
Good evening. You have in front of you the December monthly report. Page 1 and 2 just show our total runs for the month of December. We'll be tabulating all the runs for the year when we do our annual 2014 report. We still have seen an upstream of what we had from last year. Page 3, there are mutual aid responses. We had one incident where we gave mutual aid to Springfield Township. They were at a fire and they needed help from us to respond to an EMS incident. The other 3 incidents that you see up there are times when Lucas County had no ambulances available in the system, and we called Springfield to come to the scene and transport one of our patients to the hospital. Page 5 is our community risk reduction. Excuse me. During the month of December, we had 2 public education events. Crews were out and inspected 371 commercial structures, finishing up some of their re-inspects also that they had for the end of the year. The fire department installed 19 new smoke detectors in homes. This was mainly through the grant from Safe Kids of Greater Toledo, where we went into the homes and asked people if they wanted a smoke detector. They helped to provide those to us. And that grant will be extended through March because they have so many left. Some of the installs were actually also from our return to the scene. On the fire we had on Dornell, we returned to the scene like we do after all fires and canvass the area to see if anybody needs a smoke detector or needs batteries for their smoke detector. The fire we had on Huntington Creek, we're waiting till the weather actually subsides a little bit. I know Greg said this was a great winter, but my shoulder will disagree with you with all the cold weather, but we're waiting for that to subside so we can get into this subdivision and do a canvass of after return to the scene. Building project plan reviews, we had 16 plan reviews in December, 13 license inspections that Deputy Chief Freilich did for daycare facilities on our home inspections for adoption and foster care. He went ahead and answered code questions from our business owners and did one final acceptance test. During the month training, we're back with Lucas County EMS again. doing our training in January. We had December off, but we're back in January again. But the end of the year, as the end of the year approaches, we sort of went ahead and participated in different facets of packaging, patient packaging, and EMS aspects for the firefighters to go ahead and practice on. And the last page is actually a nice letter from a family, the Shranahans. They stopped off just after Christmas to deliver some cookies to our guys, and Jim Wolf answered the door, and as you can see, he answered the door, invited them in and did a real nice tour of the building with their 6-year-old and daughter. And the people were very grateful for not only us inviting them in, but being very knowledgeable about the station, explained all about the fire gear, the equipment, and how we respond, and what unit would actually come to their area. They live on Roosevelt, and also put off the tone so the youngster could see how we're dispatched on a run. So Jim did a fine job. We're very proud of Jim for taking on that task. And unless you have anything for me, that's it. Nothing?
All good.
Thank you.
Chief. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. Next up is the police monthly report, and he has 2 resolutions then.
Good evening. You have before you the monthly report for the police department for December. I'll go over this real quick. Page 2 is the total calls, type of calls into dispatch. Page 3 lists the separate offenses, the crash reports. You can see we're a little bit up in property damage accidents. We're a little bit actually down in property damage accidents, a little bit up in injury accidents. I won't go through all the numbers there. Page 4 is helpful on an annual basis to see where we stack up on calls for service with the bar graph there. General, we're a little bit slightly lower in calls for service, a little bit down in general offense reports, a little bit down in accident reports, and same for citations. Page 5, you can see that's just the running sheet of the overtime that we incur as a result of transports, specifically assisting the city of Sylvania, and so we're in pretty good shape there. Page 7, the detectives' caseload assignments. You can see the numbers there. I guess of note, there were 59 cases assigned in the month of December. 39 have been cleared, 20 remain active. Page 8, our DEA officer, our detective activities. Again, I won't go through everything. You can see the amount of cash, $22,780 worth of currency it was seized. Again, like I said, we get between 5 and maybe 10% of that, end up with that, due to our participation in the task force. Page 9, K-9 unit, nothing of note there. The K-9 officer actually was on vacation for quite a period of time during the month of December. Page 10, of note, in December, we participated with in Shop with a Cop at Walmart, and we participated with the fire department with Shop with a Hero with the Meyer stores. As far as training, we had firearm qualifications and TASER recertifications. We continue to be active in the schools. Speed trailer, no request that I'm aware of for the speed trailer, which isn't surprising with the winter and road conditions and such. Page 11 is just the overtime. You can see that those total hours exclude the quite a bit of overtime we incurred in the month of December for all the holidays and such, and then for court time. Those are contractual obligations. And with that, that's my monthly report, pending any questions you may have. Okay. Moving on, item number 8, I would like to offer Resolution 15-012 to certify the promotional eligibility list for the rank of sergeant in the police department to fill a vacancy.
I'll offer Resolution 15-012 to promote eligibility list for the rank of sergeant.
Second.
Call the roll. Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Thank you. And I'd like to also offer Resolution 15-013 to allow the police chief to promote the top scoring candidate from the eligibility list to the rank of sergeant in order to fill a current vacancy.
I'll offer Resolution 15-013, resolution for the police chief to promote the top scoring candidate from the eligibility list to the rank of sergeant in order to fill the vacancy.
Second.
Call the roll, Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chief, appreciate it.
Thanks, Chief. Next up on the administrator, my first resolution is a resolution where we have an intent to sell property on the internet, and we have to pass a resolution saying we want to do that. We do annually, we've done it for many years. And also in the resolution, there is a company, GovDeals Inc., who facilitates the sale of these items on the internet, and this authorizes us to use GovDeals.Inc. to facilitate the sale on the internet.
I'll offer Resolution 15-014, intent to sell property by internet auction.
Second.
Do you have a list of items right now, or?
No, this is just an annual resolution which then permits us, but as we have items, we will pass a resolution for those items.
For those items
Yeah.
as they come up?
Yeah, this is just authorized to sell items on the...
Got it. Thank you.
So call the roll, Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
My next item is a discussion of membership and funding requests. At this time, we're not asking for any request. Susan has provided a list to the trustees to look over. Once again, if you have any questions, you can contact Susan and I on this, or the agency itself, but this is the request we have in so far. And we just would like you to look them over, and then at the next meeting, or whenever you deem appropriate, we can determine the funding.
The requests are in red in the sheet you gave? Okay.
Thanks, John.
That's all I have. Next up is Mr. Simcoe.
Okay, well, we have the month-end analysis, which is coming up there for you to look at. And at the end of 12 months of operation, the standard percentage for expenditures would be 100%. Figures, right? Okay,
We're following you.
You guys are following me on this, yeah. And so, as you guys know, we talk about expenditures because our revenues are more somewhat fixed than that, but we're always working on our expenditures. And there you see from 13 and 14, we've always put up the previous year just so we get an idea of kind of how we're doing vis-a-vis last year. So you can see our expenditures for 2014 are generally below what actually was projected, in our budgeting process. And so, of course, that's good news for us. Our revenues for 14, if you look at those, we did come in slightly ahead in all the departments, other than general fund, which was up more than most on our revenues. And so that, of course, is good news, too. And so we finished the year doing, I think, fairly well as far as projecting, the revenues that we're going to receive and our expenditures, trying to hold those things down. And as I've said, I think the trustees are always, and the fiscal officer is always interested in keeping our expenditures down. Trustees kind of preach this, and the administrator does, but I think that it does get through to our departments here. They understand, our financial situation, and so the departments and the department heads are the ones that really drive these numbers, I think, and so they're doing a good job. And so that's really the month-end analysis. What I have, if you have any questions, I can try to answer them. If you don't, then I have a resolution, one resolution on, that's 15-015, and we did receive some invoices prior to creation of purchase orders. There's smaller numbers here, Delta Dental, Vendor Communications, And so I would ask that you pass Resolution 15-015.
What does vendor communications provide?
What do they do for us?
Communications for the fire department.
Fire department, okay.
I'll offer Resolution 15-015 approving the then and now certificates.
Second.
We'll call the roll. Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
That's all that I have. Well, I should note that Jim Beck is retiring. He's sitting back in the back there. He's casually attired.
Look at him all relaxed back there, arms folded, chilling out.
Thanks, Jim, for your work on our budget and expenditures and the like. A lot of this is attributable to your efforts, and that I know the trustees and I appreciate and look forward to Scott taking over in the fiscal department. That's all I have. Thank you.
Open discussion?
I have nothing, and there's, nobody signed in for hearing of the public non-agenda items.
If I could bring up something just as a thought for the trustees to think of, I had spoken to Commissioner Gerken and Keith Early on a few occasions about reassessing the speed limit on Mitchell Road in the study that was done a few years ago, and they, again, they would be asking for is, doesn't have to be tonight or doesn't have to be ever, but they think they may be able to modify the speed limit there, but they would want us to go ahead and forward on a letter, which, no action or anything on it, but just if you guys could give it some thought, or maybe call Keith Early, or if you guys wanted to check around and see what kind of thoughts might be there, but they would be willing to do that for us.
If you are, I would recommend, let's do a resolution, a formal resolution.
Okay.
Asking
Sure.
whoever would be, Keith Early or Commissioner Gerken.
Sure.
to-
Unless you want, I'm familiar with it, and I'm sure, I don't think it's a bad idea. If you want to wait a next meeting, but I'd be willing to
Let's, not to delay it, but let's wait till the 3rd, and then we can have it written up.
Okay.
And
Did legislation change that the townships could have the ability to change the speed limits on county roads? Wasn't there something?
No,
no,
but it's still in the request, the legislative request. It's still in there for townships.
I mean, if you
But
go...
the county can't control it either. It's state of Ohio
Is it?
right now.
Okay.
Yeah, but the county will do the study for us. And I think it might make a difference. I would say slight from my experience, but...
well, anything's better
Let's see
than
what they
nothing.
say, yeah.
Anything's better than nothing.
But I don't see any reason.
We'll have something on the next meeting, then.
Okay, that'd be
If they're
great.
willing to do it, let's
Yeah.
move it ahead.
Okay.
And then hearing of the public, we don't have anybody signed up?
Nope.
Okay. One last thing, Greg, you're retiring also. We're going to see you around a lot, but thank you for coming and being a part of this whole process. So, with that being said, we're going to close the meeting here and go into executive session to prepare for, conduct, or review negotiations with the fire department, hiring of personnel in the road department.
Is that a motion?
Yes,
And I'll
please,
second
sir.
that motion and call the roll.
At 6.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
6:32. 6:32, and I'll call the roll. Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Thank you.
Tonight?
Okay.
All right, we ready? All right, I'd like to make a motion to come back into,
Come out of executive
come out of
session
executive session, thanks.
at 6:45. You have a second?
46.
6:46, all right. Who, you have a second?
Second.
Okay, I'll call the roll. Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes. I'd like to read the resolution here. It's Resolution 15-017. It's a resolution to approve the newly negotiated wage rates for the IAFF Local 2243. Whereas the current labor agreement with IAFF Local 2243 provided for a wage reopener, and whereas the union and the township negotiating team have reached a tentative agreement. Now therefore be it resolved by the trustees of Sylvania Township, Lucas County, Ohio, that the tentative agreement negotiated between the township and the IAFF Local 2243 be approved as per attached.
Thank you.
You made the motion,
Yeah,
I'll make a motion.
and I'll second it.
Crandall. Okay, I'll call the roll. Mr. Crandall.
Yes.
Mr. Genowine.
No.
Mr. Mahoney.
Yes.
And then we have one more resolution that we'll address.
I would like to have Resolution 15018 to authorize me to offer a position, a maintenance position, pending a post-offer exam. We have a need to fill our maintenance position again.
I'd like to offer Resolution 15-08 to... 018. I'm sorry, guys.
That's okay. This one's on the fly.
Yeah, to negotiate on behalf of the township for a new employee in the maintenance department.
Second.
Call the roll. Mr. Genowine.
Yes.
Mr. Crandall.
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, with that being said, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn at 6:47. Great.
Mr. Crandall seconds it. I will call the roll. Mr. Mahoney.
Yes.
Mr. Crandall.
Yes.
Mr. Genowine.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, we have a meeting next week also, February
Third,
3rd.
next Tuesday.
Our regular meeting.